And we were putting in, it was during the holiday season, probably 16-hour days. And I remember going into his office early one morning to review some numbers, and I fainted.
Hey there, I'm Dee Dee, and you're listening to Thrivefecta, a limited audio series from BMO Wealth Management celebrating Women's History Month. Each episode of the podcast is a triple threat of insight from women thriving in business, finance, and life. Today, our guest is Donna Latier. Donna is the co-founder and CEO of Gardenuity, a company which she describes as a tech-driven wellness company aiming to democratize the gardening experience for everyone, regardless of age, location, circumstance, or skill level. They are doing some really compelling stuff, and there is a link in the show notes, and it is worth a look. Donna has over 20 years of retail experience in both public and private companies. She lives in Dallas with her husband and 2 daughters, one of whom is a Special Olympic gold medal winner. Let's hand it over to Donna.
My name is Donna Latier. I'm one of the co-founders of Gardenuity. We're based in Dallas, but we ship gardens and manage garden experiences for people across the country. Gardenuity is really about bringing wellness and the benefits that come from gardening to people across the country. We started the company because we knew that the benefits were real, from mental health to physical health. And my co-founder and I felt like we could bring technology and horticultural sciences together. Why that mattered to me is I met my co-founder through my youngest daughter, who is a gold medal Olympian athlete in Special Olympics. They said she wouldn't live past 5. She's really non-ambulatory and nonverbal, but she's the picture of perseverance. And she is the green light for any entrepreneur who's having doubts, because resilience and perseverance is her thing. And when I get to see her roll her little wheelchair out and pick a tomato from the patio garden that she has nurtured, the joy is real. And that's really part of the foundational principles and values and culture that we've established and grown at Gardenuity. When I think about something that has helped me thrive in business personally, I think about self-care, not being selfish. Because when we take care of ourselves, we're in a better position to take care of everybody else. And that really started for me very fresh as I started my career. I was working for Neiman Marcus. And this was years ago, before, the technology that we have at our disposal today. And I remember I was working for Jerry Murphy, and we were putting in, it was during the holiday season, probably 16-hour days. And I remember going into his office early one morning to review some numbers, and I fainted. I'd been working around the clock. I was probably 25 years old. He immediately had somebody drive me home. And at about noon, I heard a knock on the door, and he had hot soup delivered. Now, this is before Uber Eats, before DoorDash. And what he said is, you had to take care of you because I need you to take care of the business. And if I think about a lesson that has permeated who I am as a leader, I think when you take care of you, you give others cultural permission to take care of themselves. So I'm intentional about my practice of gratitude. I set clear intention for every day. I'm a morning person. I embrace the mornings. I love being up at 4 or 4:30, taking some me time to kind of get my day and my head in order. Do my morning prayers, do a run, whatever it might be. But I really believe self-care is not selfish, and figure out what it is that nurtures you so you can nurture others. When I think about finances, I think about being inquisitive. I think you have to understand and ask questions. If you didn't study finance in school, or if it hasn't been your educational background, everybody needs to understand where their financial risk is, where they want to go, and what they want to achieve. And that starts with asking questions. People are willing to help you out, and don't be afraid that you're going to look dumb. ask questions, and set a roadmap so that you're in a position that you're not worried every day. You can start with nothing, and it's money doesn't make you successful, but understanding your financial foundation will certainly help your mental health. So I'm all about going and asking questions, going to the bank and saying, help me understand what my opportunities are. This is what I make, or I have to fill out new forms. I'm starting a new job. What should I do with a 401k? What are my options? What's the best roadmap to pay off this debt? I'm fortunate that I'm inquisitive by nature, and so I ask a lot of questions. But I think sometimes women in particular don't want to appear like they don't understand something like finances, but ask questions. People are so willing to help. And that's probably my best advice. And then make purchases today that'll pay you back tomorrow. One thing that has helped me thrive in my personal life is I live with a servant's heart. And I think that that's really important. I think you have to keep a sense of humor. And every day I thank God because he's my boss. And he's taken me on a journey that I would never have imagined. Certainly being the mother of a child with severe disabilities took me on a journey that I knew nothing about. But if you look at every journey and every challenge as what lesson can I learn from this, I think it's a blessing. And I think gratitude is really a fast track to happiness. So my advice on kind of living a life where you can thrive, and if I wish I would have learned this sooner, it's all about listening, because that's a skill set that you need to practice. I think in your 20s, you listen with the idea of what's your next job. In your 30s and 40s, you listen in a hurry because you got a lot going on, whether it's juggling kids or a new promotion or dating life or whatever it might be, you listen in a hurry. But in your 50s and beyond, you listen with the joy of learning. I wish my younger self had listened with the joy of learning in my 20s and 30s, because some of the opportunities I had to listen to people I admire greatly, oh my gosh, I would be better off for it. And life is full of mess. You step in mess every day. You have to learn to scrape it off your shoes and move on. And so I think that one of the things that I tell myself is take a minute and really listen. And it's an opportunity to recharge, because you always want to be learning something. And you can learn from every encounter if you open yourself up to do that.
Thank you, Donna, for sharing so much thoughtful insight with us today. You've really given me a lot to think about. I'm always grateful for anyone who encourages me to do better at self-care. It is not selfish. Your insight about being inquisitive, don't be afraid to ask questions, and of course, some really great thoughts about the value of listening. Speaking of, thanks to all of you for joining us and listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about Gardenuity and the work Donna is doing, we've got links in the description and show notes. Be sure to check out all the episodes of Thrivefecta being released throughout Women's History Month. For the full playlist of episodes, click the link in the show notes or visit uswealth.bmo.com/insights. You can find the podcast wherever you listen. Simply search for BMO Thrivefecta. At BMO, we're committed to real financial progress for every woman, so they're prepared to seize every opportunity. BMO creates innovative educational programs for women and sponsors organizations that support women entrepreneurs. And through the BMO Celebrating Women program, we proudly recognize women for their philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Contact BMO Wealth Management through our website, uswealth.bmo.com. A big thank you to all who made this show possible. For a full list of credits, please check out the description where you can also read our disclosure. Thanks for listening. See you next time.